Can we find our seats? Can we find our seats? Excuse me. Good evening. Excuse me, can we try and find our way to the tables, please? Connected to their tables, we greatly appreciate it. You ready?
We're gonna let them sing, Joe.
You know what? I'm just staying to this.
What's this? Yes. We need to make sure we're out of the camera.
I'm glad to see that the 1980 football team listens as well as they do present day as they did in 1980. Can you guys find your seats?
So do you want us to sit or do you want us to...
No, he's not talking about us. He's talking about
Very good. Thank you, Bobby. I can't do that, Bobby, but I can always count on you for that. We'd like to get started tonight. As you know, the longer we're here, the more of the Eagles game we miss. So we will give updates as we get them. But we'd like to start the ceremony tonight. We typically used to bring the inductees in. We've asked that they remain at the table and they stand as we talk. So without going into a long presentation, first would be Dr. Jerry Hogan, longtime administrator at the school district. The 1927 girls basketball team, obviously not here. They were represented posthumously, but if we could give a round of applause, 27, 2018. Michael Bright, class of 96.
Thank you, Pete.
Aaron Elkson, class of 07. Sinead O'Farrell could not be here, unfortunately, she's 06. Helena Harmon Bragg, 92. Unfortunately, Bruce Holst could not be with us tonight as well, class of 70. Paul Lamparski, class of 74. Nancy Markson Kuiper, class of 54. Laurie Tortorelli, DeLuca. Kim Barecchia, 87. Our coach inductee this year is none other than the world famous Jay Williams. And the 1980 team, if they behave themselves and make it through the night, we'll bring them in, and Rich Boyd will take care of the ceremony today. I'd like to bring up Stuart Campbell to all stand for a pledge of allegiance. We find a flag. Okay.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America. I'd like to welcome everyone into the 19th Hall of Fame banquet. We now do it every other year. We try to coordinate it up with the home football game for Thanksgiving. We appreciate the turnout tonight. It's a great honor to recognize our outstanding athletes, coaches, teams, and their exceptional achievements in athletics at Haverford High School. Tonight is an excellent opportunity to share our special moments, relive our glory days, reconnect with teammates, friends, and coaches. There are a few noteworthy milestones to recognize tonight. We have a first women's golfer ever at Haverford High School. Three outstanding women's basketball teams from the 20s. The 1980 football team. It says here legendary, but again, I think he's world famous. Jay Williams. We have many standout Sports Hall of Fame inductees as well that competed in soccer, tennis, field hockey, lacrosse, basketball, cross country, track, and wrestling. We have a special recognition of Dr. Jerry Hogan, former Assistant Superintendent and major benefactors of Sports Hall of Fame. We really couldn't have started in the beginning without Jerry's help. He was a part of the Founding Fathers that helped us get off the ground and really helped us get up and running. We look forward tonight to a memorable evening celebrating fine athletes, teams, coaches, to celebrate where it all began, at Haverford High, home of the Fords, crimson and gold forever. Please join me in welcoming please join me in welcoming our choir. We'll do the school alma mater. Would we stand, please, for the school alma mater?
Haverford High, thy praise will ever sing. Long shall thy fame Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much. I'd like to next bring up Al Kamon and Dr. Jerry Hogan. Al and Dr. Jerry Hogan.
Yeah, I watched you coach a lot of people back in the 90s. I was inducted.
Al? If we could, we can actually kind of, we're going to do Dr. Hogan first, and then we'll start dinner, okay? Guys, give attention. Guys, we're going to do one induction first before dinner. If we can find our seats. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Al Kamon, who's going to present Dr. Jerry Hogan.
It's a thrill for me to be here with Jerry and to represent him based on all he's done for Haverford over the years. Jerry began with Haverford in 1966 in a position which they called assistant superintendent and head of curriculum. And he did the curriculum for the high school and for the whole K through 12 school district. In addition, he was very interested in making sure all the kids really enjoyed their time at school. And he focused on music and art as well. And he also endowed the Baltadoris Art Scholarship, which is given each year to a senior at the high school. And after retirement, Jerry had successful years in the business world with Safeguard Scientific. And then he continued to help Haverford. And as Steve had mentioned, he was the key guy in establishing and funding this Hall of Fame. In addition, he was the key guy in establishing and funding the Stephen M. Younger Memorial Fund, which continues to do extremely well. And keeping in the Haverford family, Jerry's wife of 52 years, Linda Tanzola Hogan, is Haverford class of '60. Jerry's a '59 graduate of Villanova, has a master's and PhD degrees from Temple, and in addition, he has an honorary degree from Penn State as a result of his work at their Great Valley campus. Jerry was nicknamed Coach by many, as he was a participant in and student of many sports, and always very generous in imparting his knowledge to others. The Hall of Fame is greatly honored to make this special recognition award to Jerry for all he has done over the years for Haverford.
Thank you for this honor. It has been my pleasure to be associated with the Haverford High Sports Hall of Fame since its beginning. I've been in touch with many of them on a consistent basis, and it seems like it went on and on and on and on and on. And we loved it. We thought it was great. The W, a win. It's ironic that my very first chance to be a, no, I shouldn't get into it. What am I supposed to do here now?
You're good.
Thank you.
All right, tonight we'll eat dinner, and then sort of as we're cleaning dinner and bringing out dessert, we'll sort of start some of the inductees, because it gets to be a long night, and we like some of you really traveling from a far distance. And again, the Eagles are playing. So dinner will be out, and then shortly after that, we'll start with the rest of the inductees. Thanks.
Of course, they're all dead right now. And try to find a living relative who could come and accept the award in behalf of one of them. So the most famous member of that team, I'll get to in a minute, was Gene Shiley, who's already in our Hall of Fame. And I had to sign up for a fake membership on Ancestry.com and do research. And I actually did speak with one of her nephews and one of her nieces, but they lived in Florida and in Kentucky, and so I didn't feel it was right to ask them to travel the distance to come and accept the award on their aunt's behalf, because the aunt lived in California the rest of her life after she graduated from Haverford. So that's just a little bit of background. I'm going to read this speech that Art Schuba wrote for you. Art is a member of our committee, and he has done extensive research on all of you that are being awarded tonight. And he is sorry he can't be here because he's ill. But he's been writing a book called A Century of Haverford Athletics and Beyond. And the second edition has 3 books of 784 pages. So you can imagine the amount of work that went into that. He says, to place an order, there's information inside your program if you're interested in purchasing it. But for 3 lucky people in the audience, if you turn to your alma mater page in your program, if you happen to have a signature that says Art Schuba, then you are entitled to a free edition of that book. And if you are one of those lucky winners, Sandy, would you stand up, please? Could you please, before you leave tonight, come to see Sandy Young and give her your name and address? Here she is. She's short like me. Okay, and we will get that to Art Schuba, and you will get a copy of, it's on your alma mater page. So if you see the signature Art Schuba, then you are entitled to that book. Who are those people that won? Nobody? We got 1 over there, got 2 over there. All right, the 3rd one we'll find. Oh, 3, great, super. Okay, All right, now that I've got you all riled up, I did not write this speech. This speech is from Art, and it is about this 1927 team. The 1927 HHS Girls Basketball Delaware County Championship Team and the 1928 HHS Girls Basketball Delaware County Girls Basketball Championship runner-up team and the 1929 HHS Girls Basketball undefeated Delaware County Girls Championship Team. Now that is a real honor for 3 years in a row for those girls to be so outstanding almost 90 years ago, okay? When one thinks of the history of Haverford athletics, a championship team, the first for Haverford girls, back in the early years, the 1927, 1928, 1929 basketball teams deserve to be recognized, the same as any other suburban or Central League championship team from Haverford High School. Some quality athletic accomplishments were also evident on this team. Martha Turkington averaged 22.4 points per game, and Jean Shiley was great on defense with her rebounding skills, which eventually helped her to be an Olympic high jump athlete in the 1928 and 1932, she won the gold medal, Olympic Games. Above all, Ethel David, a pioneer for women's athletics at Haverford, did an outstanding job coaching the girls' basketball teams. The defensive play of Jean Shiley and Evelyn Garcia was evident towards the success, along with the quality shooting of their leading scorer, Martha Turkington. The 1927 team had 2 returning from the 1926 team. The most important game of the season was against undefeated Glen Nor. I have no idea where that would be today. The most important game of the season was, oh, he says that twice, sorry. The reputation was solid until they played the Haverford girls basketball team. Haverford defeated Glen Nor 38-22. And you have to remember, basketball back then was, you didn't play the whole court. The girls could only take like 3 bounces, they had to stop, and two dribbles, you had to stop and pass. Some couldn't cross the center line. It was a whole different ballgame. The Glen Nor championship rivalry would last another year, again in 1928. The superiority of their basketball shooting and the floor work on the part of Haverford was excellent throughout the entire season. They lost to Upper Darby 21-13 and then won the second time around 21-13. This group of girls returned to the 1928 Delaware County runner-up. The last game of the 28th season was against Glen Nor for the Delaware County Championship. Haverford lost. The 1929 team returned all its starters. They were a team that had 2 years of experience and dominated every team they played. They outscored their opponents 409-128. They were undefeated Delaware County champions, 15-0. The girls' basketball team beat everyone in sight and would still be winning if the season went to the end of the school year. They had to be satisfied with the title, the 1929 champions of Eastern Pennsylvania. Ethel David was responsible for coaching the girls to another successful season of championship caliber basketball and a 3-year record of 44-1. The B, second team, only lost 2 games each season. Members of this 1929 team, Helen Fairbanks, Jean Shiley, Ruth French, Betty Cathert, Evelyn or Edna Garcia, Peg McGregor, Martha Turkington, Eleanor Anlong, and head coach Ethel David. When I did research on these people to try to find somebody alive, many of those women, you have to go back to the 1940 census, and that's the last census they'll give you access to. The government doesn't give you access to more recent ones. Many of them never married, these women. Some of them did marry but never had children. And the only one that really had a large family was Jean Shiley, and that's the one I focused on. But unfortunately, we found relatives, but they're too far away to do that. So I guess I'm accepting this award on their behalf. I don't know. But I just wanted to say one more thing. When Jean Shiley was inducted, what year was that, Joanne? Was that the first year you had this Hall of Fame? First year, Sandy says. She remarked that Haverford High School back in the 20s, she told people later when she was in the Olympics, was light years ahead of other districts, that they offered sports to women, that anywhere else in the country that she moved, her children never had access to those same activities. She said it was amazing how Haverford paid for their equipment, had full teams for hockey, track, all kinds of stuff. And yet, anywhere else she went in the United States, she didn't find the same thing. So that's an excellent thing in Haverford's history to have given women that opportunity at such an early age, or an early point in time, and we should be proud of that fact too. So I accept on their behalf. Thank you.
Oh, it's going on?
Cue. Tell us.
How do you cue it?
When you're ready, you tell me.
Can we start the slideshow, please?
Hey there, this is Sinead Farley. I am here via video accepting this award. I wish I could be there in person, but I live across the country now and I just couldn't make it work. Thank you so much for nominating me. This means the world to me. Haverford is where I grew up and I have all my childhood memories and my teen memories. It's where soccer started for me, so I have nothing but positive, nostalgic memories that I hold on to all the time. I am lucky enough and was lucky enough to take soccer as far as I wanted to go with being a pro and doing everything I wanted to do with my career. And I think I have everyone that's ever helped me along the way to thank for that, and that includes Haverford School District and Haverford Soccer Program, all my coaches, especially Bob Bush, who I know has been kind of pushing for this, and I think he will claim that he taught me how to head a ball, which may or not be true. But anyways, all my coaches, especially him, were great, and I'm a big believer that anyone along my journey that has helped me in any way deserves this award just as much as I do. So just big thanks to them. And I have nothing but amazing positive memories of Haverford and the soccer program. And I love going back there. And every time it's just brings back the memories, and I'm just so lucky to have them and to have a program like you guys and everything. So thank you again. Wish I could be there. And yeah.
Hi. This is Bruce Hulse, and I'm talking to you from beautiful Pacific Palisades, California, 5 minutes from the beach. This is my little garage here. I have my surfboards in the back. I'm getting ready to paddle out after I'm done with this. I feel, first off, I want to thank everybody who voted me into the Haverford High School Sports Hall of Fame. I feel it's a great honor, 47 years later, and quite surreal in another way. But those memories of playing basketball on a team that went on to the state finals, and running track where I was third in the states as a junior in the half mile, are still so vivid and so memorable. And the teammates that I had and the discipline that I acquired from playing those sports are something that have served me throughout my lifetime. And I really can't stress how strongly I believe in the character building that sports provide, and especially for me. I was fortunate to go on to play basketball at Cornell, and also became an all-Ivy hurdler at Cornell, and later on to Borås, Sweden, where I played professional basketball, a team that later Magic Johnson book. Actually had a conversation with him about that. It's given me a lifelong appreciation of sport. I have coached all my son's teams. I'm currently helping my daughter with her tennis. My son plays college baseball. My daughter is the #1 singles, doubles team in the city of LA. And Also, just the appreciation for myself to stay fit, to you know, continue in my pursuit of excellence through athletic endeavors. I've been a lifelong practitioner of the martial arts, Aikido black belt, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've trained fighters, including Randy Couture. Anyway, so the background that I received as a young lad in Haverford, Pennsylvania, playing basketball in the parks and running track up there in that cinder track. I guess it's all weather now. And it's just been invaluable. So I really appreciate you guys for inducting me into this Sports Hall of Fame. I wish I could have been there. You know, I just want to send my love, my thanks, my gratitude, and go Eagles.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to start with some of the introductions formally, and I just want to remind everyone that we're thrilled that everybody is here, and we can't wait to hear from all of you. But in lieu of the fact that there is a football game tonight, please keep your comments sincere and brief. I'm going to introduce Sinead, who you already heard from. She was in 2006 Haverford High graduate, and is by far the most accomplished Lady Ford soccer player in program history. A 4-year standout, she was ranked in the nation's #7 recruit by Soccer Buzz magazine. She earned first team All-Central League honors in 2004, 2005, and 2006. She was All-State in 2005 and 2006, and All-Southeast Pennsylvania in 2006. She played for the U17, U16, and U15 USA national teams. She was named the NSTAA Youth All-American, and she led her ODP team to a national championship. She earned a 4-year athletic scholarship to the University of Virginia, where she was first team All-ACC in 2007 to 2010. She was the 2010 ACC Offensive Player of the Year and the 2010 NCAA All-American. In her freshman season, she scored 5 goals, 3 of which were game winners. She was named Co-National Rookie of the Year and went on to lead the team in scoring in both her junior and senior years. She went on to a remarkable and successful professional career in women's soccer, playing for the Philadelphia Independent Soccer Team in 2012, the FC Kansas City team in 2013, the Portland Toms, and then the Boston Breakers. During the 2015 season, she was invited to the U.S. Women's National Team tryouts, but she retired from soccer after a car accident left her unable to play. She's been inducted into the Delaware County Sports Hall of Fame. She currently lives in Portland, Oregon, and wanted all of you to know that her younger brother is playing soccer for Notre Dame right now, so that the gene continues in her family. She is thrilled to accept this, and on her behalf, Bob Bush, her coach, would like to say a few words.
First of all, I did not teach her to lie. I never took any credit for anything she did. As a matter of fact, I saw her do some things I didn't know how to do myself. So she was a better person than I think than she was a soccer player. I tried to get her in games to score 1 or 2 goals by being a little selfish and going to the goal and scoring so that we could play differently the rest of the game. She'd have no part of it. She always wanted to pass to her teammates. And the passes were so good, you couldn't have walked out on the field and placed in a better spot. She had no need to play for a high school team. Like today in soccer, a lot of these best players in the males are playing for academies. They don't even play for their high school team. She certainly didn't need to with her duties in the national team, but she didn't want to let her friends down. And I think she actually enjoyed playing because there wasn't the pressures that occurred when you're playing for a national team. I went to see her play for the Philadelphia Independence, and she covered Marsden. And if you know women's soccer, Marsden was the MVP of the World Cup. And she shut her down, and Philadelphia won the game. She was humble. She was a tremendous teammate, and it really was a pleasure. I don't know whether I coached her or not, but it was good to go and see her perform. And as you can see in the thing, she's a very humble person and very deserving of the reward. I thank you for voting her in. She deserved it. Go Fords before go Eagles.
The next inductee is Bruce Holst, who you saw on the screen, a 1970 graduate. Holst excelled in track, cross country, and basketball for the Fords. He was a member of the 1970 PIAA state runner-up basketball team and the 1970 Central League Championship track team. In basketball, Holst spearheaded the Fords' rugged defense throughout the 1969 and 1970 seasons. He was second in rebounds during both seasons and currently ranks in the top 3 in career rebounds while averaging 12 points per game. He was All Central League and All Delco in 1970. In track, he was the pace setter for the Fords at all the meets and in the high hurdles, low hurdles, and 800-meter running events. He set school records in the 120-yard low hurdles, 14.9 seconds, 110-yard high hurdles, 14.6 seconds, and 880-yard run, 1 minute 56 seconds at the time of his graduation. Bruce Holst was an all-state track field athlete in an 880-yard run, placing third in the PIAA state championship meet in 1969. He went on to Cornell and lettered in track and basketball. He was all Ivy League in track and the 440-yard intermediate hurdles for 2 years. After his college graduation, Holst played professional basketball for the Boras in Sweden, a team that is now owned by Magic Johnson. He averaged 21 points per game. Bruce is married to wife Katrina for 24 years. They have 2 children, Cade, a senior at Pomona College, where he is the starting first baseman on the baseball team, and daughter Halsey, 14, who is the Palisades Charter High School LA City tennis champion. Bruce is a model, actor, writer, and photographer. The Holsts reside in Palisades, California. Congratulations, Bruce Holst. Obviously, we said that you saw Bruce on the screen, so he is not here tonight, but he did end on a high note there. Go Eagles. Michael Bright was a 1996 graduate of Haverford High School. Bright was a 2-sport standout in football and basketball and served as captain for each sport in his senior year. He was a 3-time letter winner in each sport. Bright became the Ford starting quarterback in the 1994 season and led the team to an 8-3 record. He was the captain of the 1995 Central League Championship football team. He compiled a career total of 2,221 passing yards, 26 touchdowns passing, and 12 rushing touchdowns. Bright was honorable mention All Central League in 1994 and 1995. Honorable mention All Delco in 1994 and 1995, and first team All Mainline in 1994 and 1995. He was the Thanksgiving Day Turkey Bowl Offensive Player of the Game in 1995. He finished the season with 1,200 passing yards, 16 passing touchdowns, and 6 rushing touchdowns. Bright played football at Dickinson College as a wide receiver. He had a career total of 59 receptions for 1,043 yards and 12 touchdowns. He set a school record of 4 touchdowns in a single game. His high school basketball career was highlighted by scoring 956 points, averaging 11.7 points per game. He was captain of the 1995 and 1996 basketball teams, earning honorable mention All-Delco, second team All-Central League, and first team All-Main Line in 1994. He was second team All-Central League, second team All-Delco, first team All-Main Line, and the recipient of the Larry Mendez Award, Team MVP. Michael was the recipient of Haverford's Norman Wigan Award presented to the outstanding senior male athlete in 1996. Currently, Mike is a child welfare supervisor in Philadelphia. He is married to his wife, Carmen. They have 3 kids, Maya, Jordan, and Terrell, and reside in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Michael Bright.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank God for making this all possible for me. It's been a while, and I really wasn't sure when it was going to come, but I'm glad it came. I'd like to thank my parents, Michael Sr. and Cindy Bright. Thank you for all your love, your support, your sacrifice. Thank you for being my inspiration and role models. Thank you for pushing me and encouraging me to be the best I can be. Thank you for showing me what hard work and dedication is. Mom, thank you for supporting me in playing football. I know it was hard for 13 years watching your boy get hit by kids twice his size, but you did, and you never missed a single game. Dad, thank you for introducing me to the game of football and basketball. Those countless times after you came home from work, we would go in the backyard and throw and catch until dark. The one-on-one battles we would have in basketball until you hurt your ankle. To my sister, Angela, thank you for putting up with me. I know I wasn't the nicest older brother, but your love for me never changed, and I couldn't have been blessed with a better sister. I'm proud of the person you became today. To my grandmother, Marie and Jean Bright, thank you for all your love and support. You are the rocks in our family, and all I wanted to do was make you proud. My grandfathers, Clarence and Jervis, thank you for all your support, and I know you're smiling down at me today. All my aunts and uncles, thank you for your support and your unconditional love. A special thanks to my wife, Carmen. Thank you for your unconditional love and support and being the greatest wife a man could ask for. You are my rock. Thank you for being such a wonderful mother and role model for our children. To my kids, Maya, Jordan, and Terrell, you are my inspiration and reason I strive to be the best I can be each day. Words can't express my love for you guys. Like I always tell you, follow your dreams and never let anyone tell you that you can't do anything. And I love you. I want to give a special thanks to my coach and mentor, Joe Gallagher. Thank you for always believing in me. I remember that day you came to 8th grade when you came to me and told me that you wanted me to be your quarterback. And you guaranteed that I would win a Central League title, and you did. So thank you. To my friends that have been there from day one, I want to thank you as well. I want to thank Haverford High for allowing me to be a part of a special and wonderful school and community. Thank you to all my teachers and coaches for their support and guidance through my journey of high school. Thanks to my teammates that push me every day in practice and have my back on Friday nights. We formed a brotherhood that will never be broken, an FFL for life. Thank you for the Hall of Fame committee for their consideration and nomination. In closing, they say it takes a village to raise a child. As you can see, for me, it definitely did. I am so grateful to have so many honorable people in my village. Thank you for taking your time to care for me and guide me to being the man that I am today. Congratulations to all the inductees tonight. Thank you, and God bless.
Brian Ellison was a 2007 Haverford High School graduate. He was a three-sport athlete who excelled in football, wrestling, and track, serving as the captain of both the wrestling and football teams. He was the recipient of the Norman Wigan Award presented to the outstanding senior male athlete in 2007. He was selected All Central League Honorable Mention 2004, First Team 2004 and 2005, All Delco League Honorable Mention 2005, Second Team 2006, All Mainline Second Team 2005, First Team 2006, News of Delaware County Second Team 2005, First Team 2006, and selected to play in the 2007 Hero Bowl. He was voted the football team's MVP, the Larry Gelbach Award in 2006. Brian had 65 career wins as a Ford wrestler. He placed second in the 2004 PIAA Section 5 tournament, fourth place in 2005, and first place in 2006. He was a 2007 District 1 South and Southeast 285-pound champion and qualified to the PIAA state finals. Along the way, he earned first team All Delco, All Central League, and Philadelphia Inquirer, All Southeast Pennsylvania 285-pound in 2007. He is a member of the 30 Wrestling Wins Club, 31 in 2006. He was the wrestling team's recipient of the John Ponzo Wrestling Award presented to the MVP in 2006 and 2007. In track, Brian threw the shot put and discus. He set the junior class record in the shot put at 47 feet 1 inch and had a personal best 122 feet 8 inches in a discus event. He was inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, Delaware County Chapter Student Athlete Award, National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame Philadelphia Chapter Athlete Award, and was the recipient of the Haverford High School Sports Hall of Fame Scholarship Award. He was the most outstanding senior athlete in 2007. He was named the Mainline Times Athlete of the Year as a senior. Brian went on to Brown University to play football. He was academic All-Ivy League 2010, second team All-Ivy League 2010, and was the recipient of the Paul K. Sloan Offensive Lineman Award in 2010. He continued his postgraduate education at Notre Dame Law. He later picked up the sport of boxing 2011-2014. He participated in the Bengal Bouts boxing tournament. He was a semi-finalist in a heavyweight class in 2012, 205-pound weight class champion 2013, and 202-pound weight class champion Brian in 2014. Brian is a newlywed, recently marrying wife Erica Dressler in December of 2016. He's an employment lawyer and trade secret litigator in Philadelphia. The Ellicksons reside in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Brian Ellickson.
First of all, I'd like to thank my parents. The older I've gotten, the more I've realized the sacrifices that they made every single Friday and Saturday, spending a lot of times driving to central Pennsylvania, sitting in wrestling gyms and tournaments all day. And I really can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me. To Coach Gal, if it wasn't for you, I never would have been able to go to such a fine college and really enjoy everything I have in my life. And not only that, from a football perspective, really teaching me how to be a better man and a better athlete. To Coach Jones and the rest of the Jones family, I'll never be able to put into words how much it meant to me to feel like one of the Joneses boys, which included some tough love from Mike, Joe, and Andrew. You guys have been in my corner since I was a freshman all the way through my senior year, and nothing made me happier than winning for you guys above everything else. To everyone else at Haverford, I really cannot tell you how much I love this place. Just to name a few people, and I know I'm going to forget, pretty much everyone in the Haverford football coaching staff, Joanne Patterson, Matt Iannetta, and everyone. I feel so honored that you came here tonight, my friends and family, and of course my lovely wife, Erica. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored to talk about our next inductee, who I had the opportunity to coach in basketball during my time in Haverford. And I also had the wonderful opportunity to coach with her father, Russ Herman. And when I first started coaching at Haverford, Russ was actually the interim head coach, and he became my assistant. In all the years that I coached at Haverford, I worked with so many wonderful people. But Russ Herman was one of my all-time favorites. He was a mentor and a friend, and I know he's here with us tonight as we introduce Helena Herman Bragg. A 1992 Ford grad, Herman was an outstanding contributor to 3 highly successful teams where she helped lead the field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse teams to Central League and District 1 success. In what would arguably be the golden age of girls athletics at Haverford, Herman was one of many talented athletes who played and excelled in 3 sports. She was a member of the 1989 and 1990 Central League Championship field hockey team, the 1989 and 1990 district qualifying lacrosse teams, and 89 and 90 Central League runner-up girls basketball teams. The 1989 team advanced to the PIAA state playoffs, and the 1990 team advanced to the districts. In hockey, Herman earned first team All-Central, first team All-Main Line, and second team All-Delco. But it was in lacrosse where she ultimately left her biggest mark. She went on to play at the University of Maryland under legendary coach and Haverford High grad Cindy Timshaw, where she became teammates eventually with fellow Fords Laura Harmon and Ryan Laubach-Davidas, both members of the Haverford High Hall of Fame. At Maryland, Herman was a member of the 1995, 96, 98 national championship teams. She became a graduate assistant for the University of Maryland and went on and helped them win another national championship. She served as the 3rd female president of the University of Maryland Letter Winners Association, known as the M Club, founded in 1923. Helena is married to her husband, Jamie. They have 3 beautiful children, Teresa and twins, Kobe and Maria. She's a Pilates instructor, mom, taxi driver. She resides in Severna Park, Maryland. She was one of the best athletes during the great era in Haverford High sports. Congratulations, Helena Herman.
Good evening, everyone. Probably got me there for a little bit talking about my dad. All right, so this is the week of Thanksgiving. We all have a lot to be thankful for. It was a great celebration and a great night. Congratulations to all the other inductees. Thank you very much to the Hall of Fame committee, because I know it takes a lot of work to put these on. I've been on this end of it all. I know it's a lot of coordinating and a lot of time. Big love and appreciation first. To my family, my mom, Tia, my sister, Christy. We don't make it back to Havertown very often anymore. We all reside down in Maryland. But definitely the biggest support is family. And here I have my husband and my 3 children. So proud of them And, you know, we hope to be raising our kids to be confident, strong, resilient, you know, competitors, and we all know that sports does that. Thank you to my friends and teammates, teachers and coaches. I think I have Bobby coached me here in basketball. Nancy, I saw Nancy McGoldrick across. Hey, Nance. Teacher, I saw Miss Walczek, Miss Angelo, so many people. I hope I don't forget. Teammates I have here from high school and college. Rasheen, Brian, Kirsten, Christy O'Connor. So glad that you could make it. My best friend from college traveled from North Carolina to make it up here. So thank you. My dad used to say, life is a game. You know, there's wins and losses. Wins are the celebrations, the birthdays, the births of babies, and anniversaries. Nice nights tonight are celebrations. Losses are hardships that we face along the way. Deaths and illnesses, loss of loved ones, and my best friend and I try to always remind each other, Carpe Diem, seize the day, because you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. My father passed away 6 years ago, and it was in the middle of the night, out of nowhere, so, you know, I try to remember that every day is a blessing, and we need to embrace every day. My favorite band, Zach Brown, one of their lyrics is, take it all in, it's a game we can't win, so enjoy the ride. Thank you all.
Paul Lamparski, a 1974 graduate. Lamparski was a two-sport standout and captain in football and lacrosse. He was the Norman Wigan Award recipient, recognizing him as the outstanding senior male athlete in 1974. In football, he was a member of the 1971 Co-Central League Championship football team. He was first team All-Central League 1973 offensive tackle and defensive line, and was selected co-captain of the team's senior year, 1973. In lacrosse, Lamparski was selected team captain his senior year. First team All-Public League defense 1973 and 1974, and All-State 1974. Lamparski continued his post-high school athletic career on a partial athletic scholarship at Drexel University from 1975 to 1978, where he was a four-year varsity letter winner. He is one of 25 players named to the 1970s All-Decade Drexel University lacrosse team, recognized to be one of the strongest decades in Drexel lacrosse history. Upon graduation from Drexel, he continued to play lacrosse at elite club levels. He has been an avid lacrosse enthusiast and ambassador of the game for over 45 years. This includes playing on the Masters, Grandmasters, and Centurion levels for the various club affiliates and World Games Festival events. Post-collegiate LACs and current lacrosse club affiliations: Philadelphia Eagle Eye Lacrosse Club, 1979 to 1981, Keystone Lacrosse Club, 1984 to 1987, Masters Club, Philadelphia Paladins and USA Stars, Grand Masters Club, Eagles, Paladins, USA Stars, Centurion Club, Gray Eagles, Zen Masters, and several others. Paul has been married to wife Lee for 35 years. They have two children, Laura, 33, and Alex, 29. Paul's a retired CPA, finance executive in the software industry. His work took him around the globe to Europe, Australia, and China. Paul is a multiple myeloma cancer survivor. He was the beneficiary of an amazing new cancer trial that re-engineered his immune system to fight cancer, and still fighting a fight. Paul still enjoys playing lacrosse and hiking in the Adirondacks. Paul and his wife reside in Lake Placid, New York. Congratulations, Paul Lamparski.
Well, good evening, everybody. First thing I'd like to do is to thank all those individuals that envisioned, created, and maintained this organization. This is such a great event, and it gives us all an opportunity to not only honor such outstanding people in Haverford's athletic past, but also for friends and teammates to reunite with one another and talk about old times. And what we like to say at these old guy lacrosse games is the older we get, the better we were. I could regale you with stories of past sports accomplishments, but either I would bore you because you don't have any reference point, because you don't know me that well, or if you do know me, you've heard them 100 times already, so I won't do that. The other thing that makes me very honored to be recognized tonight is that I happen to know that a couple of good friends and teammates were very active in making this all happen. And just knowing that I have people like that in my back court pushing me along has meant more than any honor or award could ever mean. Included in that group is my adopted family. You have to understand, I came from a small family. We only had I only had 5 brothers and sisters. So I had to adopt a family, and that was the Kearns family, who are here in numbers tonight. And I want to thank them. One thing that sports has told me is it's not about the games. It's not even about the competition. That's all fun. Sports were such fun for me. But it's about the journey, the personal journey. I'm not sure I understood that when I was a kid. But as I grew older and I got involved with my children's sports, I have 2 outstanding athletes as daughters myself. I got to coach them myself in soccer, and then I got to watch them for many years as field hockey players. And it was while I was watching them that I learned that it was all about the journey. They went to school just around the corner here at a school that's now known as Country Day School, or is known as Sacred Heart Academy, was the Country Day School, the Sacred Heart. And they had amazing traditions at that school, of which one was a senior trip where they went on a retreat to the Jersey Shore. Us parents got involved in that in just one way. We wrote a letter to our daughters. And I've got to tell you, if you've never written a letter to your daughter or your son, it is the most amazing experience you could ever have. So I would encourage you to do that. In at least one of those letters to my daughters, I wrote that they should always find time for sports and games, because they will take you places that your mind and body can't otherwise go. I'm a firm believer in that, and I pass that message along to everybody in this room. Most of you probably already know that. With that, I'll bid adieu. God bless you, everybody, and be well.
Our next inductee is Nancy Morrison. A 1954 Haverford High grad, Morrison played and excelled in 3 sports: field hockey, basketball, and tennis. Tennis was her calling, and after graduating from Haverford, she dedicated her life and her career to sharing and teaching the game with others. She was an outstanding tennis player in high school, first team doubles sophomore and junior year, and #1 singles in her senior year. In fact, in the 1954 yearbook, her secret ambition was to be the best tennis player in the world. She certainly went on to have a major impact on the world of tennis, both regionally and nationally. She went on to play tennis and badminton at Drexel, where she was awarded a partial scholarship and was captain for both sports in her senior year. While attending Drexel, she began a lifetime passion of teaching tennis while still playing the sport and promoting the game in grassroots areas. Upon graduation, she began coaching tennis at Springfield High School, where under her direction, the team won a state championship. Her coaching took her to Frankfurt, Germany, and to Delaware. She coached at the Tatnall School, Archmere Academy, twice coaching Archmere to the state championship. She was instrumental in establishing the Delaware Tennis Center and oversaw its operation for more than 15 years. From 1981 to 1988, she served as the USTA Middle States Delaware District Executive Secretary. Her honors and awards are many. She was a National Senior Olympics silver medal winner, a National Senior Gold winner in doubles, a USTA 4.5 National League champion in 83, 85, and 93. She was a DuPont Country Club champion. In 2001, she received the prestigious USTA Presidential Award for her renowned dedication and contribution to her sport. She's been inducted into 3 Hall of Fames, including Drexel University, the Delaware Tennis Association, and the Middle States Delaware. She's been named Middle Coach of the Year in 1990 and 93, and was the USTA Middle States Coach of the Year in 93, 94. She is a parent, a competitor, a coach, a volunteer, and someone who's made an indelible impact on the sport of tennis. She worked tirelessly to bring tennis to everyone in the Rodney Street Tennis and Tutoring Association for Youth at Risk, and has made an impact in Delaware tennis and beyond that is well known. She's currently retired and living in Glen Mills, PA. She is here tonight with many of her family, and on behalf of everyone, we want to congratulate Nancy Morrison.
Thank you. Wow. Can't believe it all. I want to congratulate all the other inductees. It was so nice to be recognized in such company. When I was notified about being inducted into the Haverford High School Sports Hall of Fame, I was overwhelmed and paused on the phone. I then said to Kathy that I think that I would not have accomplished in my life what I did if it wasn't for my education at Haverford and the foundation here. I lived in Brookline Boulevard. My mother was a golfer, signed me up for tennis lessons sponsored by Park and Rec Department at Grange Field at 1 p.m. on the hottest days of the year. I took the lesson and hated it. I stood in line, hit a few tennis balls, had clay all over me, perspiring, and I cut out for the lesson and told my mother that I didn't want to go back. But I had no choice. Back I went. But at the end of the series of lessons, I was awarded 2 free tennis lessons from Norm Brommel of the Kinwood Club in Kinwood. He was wonderful, and I became hooked on the game. I did play 3 sports and enjoyed them all, and I'd hoped that someday I could be a coach, and did coach high school tennis for 20 years. In 1977, when we came back from Germany after living in Frankfurt for 3 years, I entered our sons in tournaments, and I became very active in the Delaware District. In 1979, we won Family of the Year. When you receive an award like this from the district, I found out that you're in there for life. When I accepted the position of executive secretary, I found out what was involved: running tennis programs, running the Delaware Tennis Center at Brandywine College, now Winder, summer instruction program, Delaware newsletter, fundraising, no staff, little money, and getting my stipend for a year, little stipend. I was ready to quit. That would have been the end. But because of my background in sport, starting at Haverford, I knew that I could not just quit, that I must find a way to succeed. I know that when participating in sports, you learn life skills. Because of all my involvement in sports, I also realized that there was no way that I could do a job myself to be successful. And I had a great team, and they're standing here tonight. I had a lot of help, and I like those table to stand up, the ones that were there. I would not be here. Larry, come on, and I want that table, 2 tables to stand up. I want to tell you, it took a team. It wasn't you. These guys spent hours and hours and hours. Thank you. My life was enriched by having the opportunity to work with them. I was overwhelmed with the support tonight of all of them. Unbelievable, and thank you so much. I also always forget, but I want to thank my sons, Walter and Mark, and my husband, who passed away in March, for all their support. They all played tennis. I guess they had no choice. My motto is, a family that plays together stays together. I was a parent, a competitor, coach, and so on, but again, I credit my high school experience with being a basis for my success. My teachers, coaches, guidance counselors, and friends got me here. I received many awards. I was 5 times inducted into Hall of Fame, but this one is very special, and I am very honored. Thank you.
Our next inductee is another special person to me. I had the opportunity to coach not just one tort, but 2 torts. And if you get to coach a tort, you're going to have a winning team. Laurie Tortorelli DeLuca, a 1998 Haverford High grad, played 4 years of hockey, basketball, and lacrosse. She was a 3-year starter for the basketball team that qualified for the state playoffs in 1997 and 1998, which captured the Central League Championship in 96 and 98. She earned all Central League and all Main Line honors as a senior. She could really shoot. In lacrosse, Tort finished her high school career as an All-American selection and won as one of the top goalkeepers in Ford history, although that's debatable, because the other one is her sister. She was a member of the 97 and 98 Central League Championship lacrosse teams, and after capturing the Central League title in 1998, Tort helped lead the Fords to the District 1 title game. At that time, the PIAA did not sponsor a state playoffs. For all intents and purposes, Haverford finished the season as the #2 team ranked in Pennsylvania. Laurie Tortorelli was Haverford's co-recipient of the Ethel David Award, presenting to the Outstanding Senior Athlete in 1998. Is the other recipient at your table? No? Okay. Tort went on to an outstanding collegiate career at the University of Delaware. She was a 3-time first-team IWLCA All-Mid-Atlantic Region selection. In 2002, she was named to the Intercollegiate Lacrosse Coaches Association, 3rd team. She was the 1999 America East Rookie of the Year, a 2-time America East All-Tournament Team selection, and a 4-year starter. In 2002, she was named to the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Coaches Association, 3rd Team All-America. She helped the Blue Hens earn an NCAA tournament berth in 2000. Tortorelli is 2nd all-time in saves for the Blue Hens, 3rd in Delaware history for the most minutes played, 2nd in school history for saves in a single season, and holds a record for most saves in Rouleau Stadium in 2001. She was a first-team academic All-American in 2002 and played in the IWLCA North-South All-Star Game. She went on to coach lacrosse at Cornell University and has been involved in youth lacrosse across the region. I will say this, and this is probably a side note, there's an award at Haverford High School still named after the Tortorelli girls, and it stands for TORT, Tenacious, Out-Hustle, Relentless, and Team Player. That's a pretty cool honor to still have, especially all these years removed. Laurie is married to her husband, Ben DeLuca, who is the head men's lacrosse coach at the University of Delaware. They have 2 daughters, Ellie and Annie. Laurie is involved in youth basketball and lacrosse coaching in her community and is a devoted mom. She's from one of the best Haverford families of all time. Congratulations, Laurie Tortorelli.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here. It's been a long time since I've been back, and I'm so proud to call Havertown my hometown. Thank you so much for this incredible honor to be recognized in this impressive club of former Haverford High athletes. Thank you to Joanne Patterson, Steve Young, Kathy Kearns for all of your efforts tonight. Congratulations to all of the inductees, especially Helena Herman, whose father, Mr. Russ Herman, was my science teacher in middle school and my basketball coach. He was a great man. This award is a reflection of all the special people who have positively impacted my life. I would not be standing up here if not for my tremendous support system, which began at home with my parents. Tony and Eileen. Their selfless commitment and love for their 3 children is something I strive for now as a parent. Mom and Dad, you have set the bar very high. And I can only hope that Ben and I raise Ellie and Annie as well as you have raised the 3 of us. To my sister Elizabeth, a Hall of Famer herself, and my brother Anthony, a proud Ford football player. I'm so proud to be your older sister. You both have far surpassed others' expectations, and you continue to shine at every turn. My favorite childhood memories involve competing with you both on the driveway at 1344 and playing catch in the backyard. Thank you for always being on my team. I love you. Isaac Newton once wrote, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on ye shoulders of giants." The foundation and expectation to be a female Haverford High student athlete were set years earlier and passed down to each rising freshman class. The expectation was greatness, and you knew you needed to work hard to win. As a member of the field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse teams, you wanted to honor the legacy of those who came before you. With the likes of Kirsten and Lindsay Manning, Laura Harmon, Ryan Lawback, Judy Denon, Helena Herman, Sarah Bradley, and Carrie Sebastian, that's an all-star team right there. Our teams worked hard to build off the standard these legends set and make our own mark. Grit, hustle, and how to be a good teammate were learned and required if you wanted to excel. This competitive blue-collar foundation was created by Bobby Morgan and Nancy McGoldrick, and it's called H Pride. 2 of Haverford's greatest coaches and 2 die-hard Fords. Thank you for taking a chance on me and impacting my life in such a profound way. The lessons I learned during my time at Haverford have always stayed with me as a player at the University of Delaware, as a college and youth coach, and now as a parent. I hope one day I can influence some little girl's life the same way you have mine. Thank you for paying it forward. To all of my teammates, it was a privilege and honor to compete with you. I cherish the memories of going out onto our field and court with you. I was so proud to wear that Haverford jersey alongside you. Playing in that state championship game was one of my proudest moments. I especially want to recognize Candace Taglianetti Basso and Ashley Mataraki Trusky, as they have been my teammates and best friends for my entire life. They made me a better player and person, and have always been there for me, even when I had my crazy goalie outfits. I would also like to thank Freddie Brown, Diane Hefford, and Linda Jones for their coaching and assistance, and a big thank you to Mrs. McShane, who forced me to try out for her 8th grade lacrosse team. She threatened not to start me in one of our 8th grade basketball games if I didn't try out. I'm pretty sure I danced in the crease my first 2 years of playing goalie. Lord knows it wasn't pretty. It's simple moments like this that lead to life-changing events. To Carol Wakefield, our collective grandmom, Val Walczek, George and Wes, and my 2 grandfathers. Thank you for being our best fans. Pop, I know you're smiling up there right now. Finally, to my husband Ben and our little loves, Elizabeth and Ann, life takes you unexpected places. Love brings you home. Thank you for always being my home. Thank you so very much.
Faith is going to present our next award.
All right, you're all giving me the sniffles. It's not easy. I have two speeches here. I'm going to read the formal one and then a special one, okay? So Kim Verrecchio is our next inductee. Kim graduated in 1987. She played golf all 4 years. Ms. Verrecchio was the first woman to play on Haverford's golf team. She was also the first Lady Ford player to qualify for the state tournament, finishing in the top 5 in 1986, and the top 10 in 1987 at the PIAA State Championship. In 1987, she was MVP, captain, and scoring leader. In that same year, Ms. Verrecchio made the Delaware County Times Academic Honor Roll. Some of her other awards and accolades from her time on Haverford's golf team include Delaware County Hall of Fame Athlete of the Week and Philadelphia Girls Champions. Ms. Verrecchio was a standout member of the 1984 Haverford golf team, which broke Conestoga's, well, pardon me, you really did give me the sniffles, long-time win streak. She received a full athletic scholarship to play golf at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill from 1987 to 91. In 1990 and 91, UNC was in the top 20 at the NCAA championships. Ms. Verrecchio was the captain of her team during her senior season at UNC. Ms. Verrecchio earned her PGA Class A membership in 1996. As a professional golfer, she has several top 10 finishes, was the first woman selected to the Dick Smith Cup team in 1995, the first woman to win a Philadelphia Section PGA event in Hartford 1995, and is the only woman ever to qualify and compete in the Philadelphia Open Championship in 2004. Ms. Verrecchio is currently the PGA Director of Golf Instruction at the Loxahatchee, Golf Club in Jupiter, Florida, where she's been for 25 years. She was an assistant golf professional at Aronimink Golf Club and a former teaching professional at Waynesboro Country Club. She is also the co-author of So You Want to Play Golf? An Introduction to Golf for Beginners. In addition to golf, she enjoys music, baking, and traveling. And she's married to her husband, J.P. Phillips, who resides in Juniper, Florida. And now I have a special speech for you. Your golf coach from high school could not be here. And so he sent me a speech that he would like to read to you, wherever you are. Oh, here you are. Here, I'm looking at the wrong table. My bad. Okay. So Mr. Warren Brote says, congratulations to tonight's inductees. Your outstanding athletic resumes have enhanced the reputation of Haverford High School, a reputation to which we all share, and we thank you for that. Warren writes, we were known as the boys' golf team. There was no girls' golf team. To my surprise, Kim appeared at our initial meeting of the boys' golf team. I was forced to come to grips with some serious issues, not all necessarily related to golf, and not a long time to ponder my thoughts on these issues. We all love to compete. We all want to be part of a winning team. There's nothing better than the feeling you get down deep when that happens. To be that winner, you must field the best athletes Haverford has to offer in your sport. My thought was, young lady, if you're one of those athletes, welcome to the boys' golf team. But of course, the story continued. I was informed by a somewhat adamant and agitated athletic director who will remain nameless. No girls on the boys' golf team. There was some mention of the stuffy, omnipresent PIAA and their possible sanctions. I explained to Kim my thoughts on her being a member of the team and the position of the people who were administering our athletic department. Kim expressed her understanding with deep disappointment. Case closed. Well, not really. I was away the following weekend, and when I returned home Sunday night, I found multiple copies of a page from the Philadelphia Inquirer stuffed in my mailbox. The paper ran a full-page story headline, Haverford High School denies girls' participation on boys' golf team. The article painted a picture of gender discrimination at Haverford with quotes and comments from school board members on down. I have often wondered why I was never contacted for a statement on the events, and I had no idea what the consequences of the article would be. Well, I knew it was going to be an interesting Monday when during my first period class, my department head showed up and told me to go to the principal's office while he covered my class. I was informed by the principal in a one-sided conversation that I was to allow Kim to try out for the team. I was to show no special favors, and I was to follow all of the team rules that were in place. I was ordered to see that this was to be carried out fairly and with no incidents. The team structure at that time consisted of 7 golfers. Golfers number 1 through 5's scores counted toward the team score. Numbers 6 and 7 were reserves, playing mostly for experience. At our last practice of the season, we played off for the 7 positions with additional golfers competing to break into the 7 spots. You had to play your way onto the team. I placed Kim in position to compete. To make sure everything was above board, I played her against our number 6 and number 7. One of my JV wrestlers was a scrub on the golf team, and I read the riot act to him and put him as the 4th in the group. He was going to be my cop on the beat to ensure everything went well. Of course, I followed the group around out of sight, peeking through bushes. Things went well, and I relaxed as I saw the guys concede her a 3-foot putt. As it turned out, Kim tied the 7th man, and according to our rules, you had to beat the person outright to replace him. So, going into the last meet of the season, we were a lineup composed of all males. What was the atmosphere like back then? Well, at that final match with Ridley on Monday at Marion West, we were waiting on the first tee for our opponents to arrive. The Ridley bus finally arrived and pulled as far away from the entry gate as possible. The coach trotted the 100 yards along the 18th fairway to the gate and asked if we had any girls playing. With the response being negative, he motioned the bus up to the gate and the match proceeded. He was instructed not to participate if we had a girl on the team. Ridley was afraid of PIAA sanctions if they participated against a boys' team that had a girl member. Kim had broken through barriers for girls' athletics with grace and skill. The following year, Kim was on the team and soon became our number 1 golfer. She opened the door for Lorraine Conley, who became our number 2 golfer. The fun part was watching our opponents' number 1 and number 2 male golfers display confident snickers when they learned they were competing against girls. Then watching their faces pale when Kim's and Lorraine's drives went straight down the middle, with short irons remaining to the green. Lesson learned, boys. Please congratulate Kim, not only for her golf accomplishments, but also for what she did to advance the reality that ability supersedes gender. On behalf of the members of the Sports Hall of Fame, we'd like to formally recognize Kim Verrecchio for her accomplishments.
Thank you. Well, that's not quite how I remember it, but if that's what he says happened, I guess that's what happened. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. As I was standing here listening to your bios this evening, I am truly honored to be amongst such greatness. You all have accomplished so much, and I think that speaks volumes to what Haverford is and what kind of an education and support system they've created for all of us. I'd like to thank Coach Warren Brodt and all of my teammates because they were very welcoming to me, and once they saw that I could play, you know, game on, everybody just wanted to win. And I think that's what we all experienced on our various fields. I'd also like to say that I had the pleasure of being on the team while Lorraine Jones came on board, and we really did, we really did have a great time in the Central League because we had a heck of a run, the two of us, winning matches, and it was nice to have a partner in crime and not be the only girl. I'd also like to thank the Hall of Fame and the members for voting me in. I was shocked when Kathy called me and she said, "You've been inducted," and I said, "Are you for real?" Because I just couldn't believe that this happened, but it is truly a great honor. I'd like to thank my brother and sister for all of your support and for always having my back. I'm truly lucky to have the two of you as my siblings. To my husband, JP, I'm really glad that you could be here to share in this tonight, and I appreciate you coming up from Florida. And to my parents, this would not have happened without them. If it were up to me, it would be their picture hanging on the wall outside of the gym. They introduced me to the game of golf. They cultivated my passion, and they have always supported my every endeavor, no matter how crazy it might have been. When people said she can't, they said she can. Well, look what we did. Thank you.
Jay Williams, cross country and track coach. Jay Williams coached 118 seasons at Haverford. Goes back even before the 1927, I guess, team. 38 seasons cross country, 38 indoor track, and 42 outdoor track. In his first 20 seasons in cross country, he was an assistant boys and girls coach. After becoming head coach of the boys cross country for 18 seasons, 1999 to 2016, his teams won 90% of their meets, compiling a 164-18 record. In that span, the boys won 6 Central League championships, were league runners-up in another 7 seasons, and placed in the top 3 in Central League standings in 17 of 18 seasons. Including his time as an assistant cross-country coach, boys and girls won 24 Central League championships. As head coach, Williams had 2 teams placed in the top 10 at states. He also had another 16 runners advance to states individually. As an assistant track coach, Williams specialized in the distance events, 800 meters, 1600 meters, 3200 meters, as well as the 4x800 meters relay and distance medley relay. All told, between the girls and boys, another 13 Central League championships were won by the Fords in track. All current school record holders, boys and girls, in distance events have been coached by Williams. In PIAA state meet competition, 24 Haverford girls have won a total of 69 state medals, including 10 gold. On the boys' side, 22 boys have won 35 state medals, with 5 being gold. Coach Williams has strived to pass his passion for running to his athletes. Many of his runners have run at the collegiate level, and 2 have even represented the USA at the Olympic Games. A large group of ex-runners keep active in various road races, and over 24 have become high school coaches. Williams expected a lot from his athletes, both on and off the track. He used a low-key approach coaching style, and made sure to mix in some fun with the workouts for his athletes. Prior to coming to Haverford, Williams was a 4-year letterman at Villanova University in cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track. He was a member of the 2 NCAA championship teams and 7 IC4A championship games. Jay is married to his wife, Christine. They have 2 children, Jeanette and Dan. He's the proud new grandfather to baby Penelope, Penny. Jay is a retired Haverford teacher. In retirement, he enjoys spending his time with hobbies, antique cars, vintage toy trains, antique mechanical boxes and pianos, and of course, running. Jay and Christine reside in Westchester, PA. Congratulations to one of the finest coaches and gentlemen I know, Jay Williams.
I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this great honor, and congratulations to tonight's inductees. I'm going to break format tonight and tell you the secret of our success in distance running. What is with Haverford that they're so good? Perhaps it's the water that makes them so fast. Well, we tested the water, it's not the water. Well, maybe we have a constant supply of just highly talented runners in Haverford. No, the talent's spread pretty evenly around the lake. So, what is it then that made us so good? I need a prop here. It's the shirt. Kurt Rosser wore the shirt. Maureen O'Connor, Karen O'Connor, Joanne O'Connor, Phyllis Botson, Christy Jameson, they wore their shirt. Josh D'Angelo, Pat Cromwell, Mike Egan, Jen Collins, Gian Gonzaga, Matt Levesque, Samantha Bates, Shane Willey wore their shirt. Bobby Bonds, Ross Martinson, Chris Duckworth, Mark Wilson, Ed Poynton, Helen Poynton, John Dukes, Aaron Rich wore the shirt. Mike Lang, Steve Lang, Tim Konopka, Eddie Dutch, Alicia York, Fiona York, Maddie Keene, Adriana Boyle, Sam Stewart, Julia Summers wore the shirt. Rhiann Jones, George Walton, Ricky Anthony, Sophia Meehan, Tess Meehan, Adam Bodine, Courtney Nazer, Dave Fowler, James Abrams wore the shirt. By now you're saying, let's just put the shirt in the Hall of Fame. The point is this, when I started coaching 40 plus years ago, Haverford already had a rich tradition in cross country and track. All I had to do was not mess up things. Expectations were high for the athletes. I only had to insert the necessary training to fulfill these high standards. I made it a priority to use this tradition to inspire my runners and to make sure the shirt commanded respect. Winning begets winning, and soon the team, no team wanted to be the one that dropped the baton, so to speak. I was fortunate to have coached hundreds and hundreds of just great kids and also the support of great families. The kids were not afraid to work hard, and they weren't afraid to race hard. I also had the pleasure to work with some outstanding coaches over my 4 decades, especially Bill DeCampley, Mike McMillan, Mike Allen, Christy Ritchie, and Jim Jensen. And last, I also had the greatest AD in Joanne Patterson. So remember everybody, H-Pride is not a cliche, and thank you and good night.
We have the Haverford High School Sports Hall of Fame team induction, 1980 Central League Co-Championship football team. Head coach was Hal Bauer, assistant coaches Jack O'Donnell, Richard Boyd, Jack Doherty, and Paul Bernsdorf. Their record was 10-1 and 7-1 in the Central League. The 1980 Haverford football team finished their season with a 10-1 record, which rated them second in the Sailor ratings to Central Bucks East. This ranks them certainly as one of the finest football teams in the great history of Haverford football. This team was known for its defense, great kicking, and steady turnover-free offense. The defense gave up 64 points all year and posted 6 shutouts. The team was led by John Muntz and Kyle Walton, both two-way all-league performers. The team, however, was blessed with many talented players, committed athletes, selfless role players, and unselfish bench players. The whole team was just a pleasure to be around, and all were outstanding students and school citizens. The team truly proved their greatness in the 9th game of the season by defeating an extremely talented Ridley team, 31-19 on Ridley's home field, a feat that not many teams have ever achieved. In 1980, there were no state playoffs. So we can only imagine how far this gifted team may have advanced. This team truly loved the game of football. They honestly enjoyed practice and continued to work and improve. They backed away from no one and were always an honor and a credit to Haverford on and off the field. It is with great pride we present the championship 1980 Haverford football team. And I'm going to call on Coach Rich Boyd, but I'd also like to make a recognition of tonight, or recognize Hal Bauer's son, who played also football at Haverford High School, Rich Bauer. Rich is here tonight. Rich is here in support of the 1980 team to see the many people that he knows through his father. And he also, Richie, was a part of our 1989 championship baseball team at Haverford High School. So welcome, Rich. Thanks for being here tonight. Richie Boyd.
He hasn't aged.
He has it.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and first of all, congratulations to all the inductees. It's so neat to see these kids here. I had them in middle school, and then to see them as grown-up adults, it's just phenomenal, and it's a great honor, and you deserve it. You know, one of the ongoing debates in any program is which team is the best. A discussion that can't be won, but it makes for fun debate. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say that the 1980 team is the best team in Haverford history, especially with Coach Cal standing so close to me right now. But I am going to say that this Hal Bauer coach team from 1980 has to be in the discussion as one of the best, if not the best. In 1980, I happened to be an assistant coach to Hal Bauer and a teacher in the middle school. Now, I'll tell you, it's always been a privilege and an honor and a pleasure to coach the kids at Haverford. It was just, to me, a dream job. But I will say some classes are even more special. And you could see that this was a magical group of kids coming through the middle school. And you knew when they got to high school that you were in for something special, and we were. When you have kids with great talent, with great character, outstanding work ethics, that care for one another and they're selfless, you know, and supportive great families, which we had, and a lot of them are here tonight, you can't go wrong. And as a coach, I feel like it's maybe one of the worst coaching jobs I ever did, because you didn't have to do much. You didn't want to mess them up. You know, sometimes you feel like you have to do too much. Here, let just Muncie and Walton and Bravo and everybody play. But anyway, it was a wonderful group of kids. And John Wooden said that he didn't like to recruit students, athletes without character. Not because he didn't want to win, because he had to deal with them every day. And I will say that the best part of my day was walking out on the field with these young men. It was just a pleasure and an honor. And these guys, we had fun every day, and it's a hard, grueling sport, and they were wonderful. The 1980 team finished 10-1, as was stated. They were rated second. They played great defense. They kicked the ball unbelievable, gave up 64 points, 6 shutouts, and we had one like nightmare of a game. And we played Conestoga. It's just a shame to me that these kids were not undefeated. It's a crime. And they weren't near as good as us. It was a rainy, terrible, I hate to make excuses, but it was a rainy night. We didn't have all our players. They had a crazy touchdown. We had one called back and we lost 2019. But anyway, as most of you know from growing up in Delaware County, to win a championship, you need to go through Ridley. And this team proved themselves in a very memorable way. Ridley was loaded. They had an unbelievable team. And you just don't go on Phil Marion Field and win. And this team went up there. It was, I still think, one of the best games in Haverford history. 31-19 on Phil Marion Field, and defeated just an unbelievable Ridley team. And again, I wish I could only envision, if they had playoffs then, what this team might have done. All the players on this team contributed to a great season. Starters, backups, scout team. These kids loved the game. They loved practice. They backed away from no one. But more important, as a coach, they were always an honor and a credit to the game of football, to their family, and to Haverford. And it was a dream season. Unfortunately, some members of that team are not with us today, I hate to say, and I'd like to mention them first. First and foremost, our leader, head coach Hal Bauer, and without his vision and drive and guidance, the season would have never taken place. He was greatly missed. Then some players, Jimmy Ross, I think his son is here, which I just met for the first time. Jimmy Ross is, and the kids will tell you, one of the toughest human beings I've ever met in my life. And when you walk in the field and you turn over your shoulder and you see Jimmy standing there with his teeth out and everything, you feel pretty good. He just set the tone for this team. Doug Long is not with us today. He was a great outside linebacker. John Kleinstuber, a tight end. Mark D'Angelo was a junior defensive back. Jeffrey Sills, a junior running back. Mark D'Angelo, a junior on the team running back. And we had a great manager, Danny Grubb, that was one of the hardest working kids ever, that never get the attention they deserve. So they're players, and I hope I didn't miss anyone, although it's not a real pleasant topic right there, but they are not with us today. Now, I would like to introduce our players. I guess we'll just stand them up there. Again, the coaches, I thought we tried to get Jack Doherty, unable to find him. Paul Bernsdorf and Jack O'Donnell, I don't think is with us tonight, but they all just did a phenomenal job. And I hope I get everybody. First, our sophomores that were on the team, Joel Walton and Steve Young, if they could stand up. Joel, just a great kid, would do anything for you. Steve Young, just, you know, from all the Youngs, and his dad, just a great history at Haverford. And Steve, probably the most known for going against Jimmy Ross every day in practice. Probably is still not correct. Juniors, I just want to mention Dom Swarza. He was a little embarrassed because he got hurt and didn't want to stand up, but Dom was certainly part of the team. Dom Swarza. Jeff Consul, a junior defensive back that started. Anthony Cunningham, starting offensive lineman as a junior. Mike Alessi just anchored the defensive line, tough defensive lineman. We had one boy here that texted me, Danny Gallagher, that was a fullback middle linebacker, and he just wanted everybody to know his regards, that he thinks of us often, and his coaches and teammates will always be his brothers. Scott Young. Scott Sr., defensive end, big part of that team. Daryl Pacheco. I thought Daryl was here. Was Daryl here? Daryl, I didn't even see you today. Great to see you. Daryl, defensive lineman. Richie Kroll. Richie, defensive end. We stole him from the basketball team. Finally, we got him to play football and see the light. Richie Kroll. Joe DiTrolio. Joe, great defensive lineman, known for being the sack man, had 9 sacks, and a very agile, great defensive lineman. Dave Bravo. Dave was our quarterback. Just a great leader on and off the field, and he was an old school kid that played, his quarterback that also played defense, and a great leader for us. Kyle Walton. Kyle Walton, already in the Hall of Fame, state class sprinter, 1,000-yard ball carrier, 12 TDs, 9 interceptions. Back then, nobody even passed the ball, and he had 9 interceptions. I don't know how he did it, 2 for touchdowns. But he was just amazing. And our captain, Johnny Muntz. Johnny played everything on offense, tight end, wing, fullback, halfback, whatever we needed somebody. But the one thing he did do was middle linebacker. And he anchored that, and really, arguably, I think is the best football player to ever go through Haverford, in my estimation. Johnny Muntz. Now, I hope I didn't miss anybody. Are there any players on that team? Well, there's so many, and obviously I could go through everybody, but I just wanted to recognize the ones that were here. And I wanted to thank everybody involved for this magical season. It was a great time. Johnny, would you wanted to say something? Johnny Muntz played at the University of Virginia.
There's not much more I could say that Coach hasn't already said, but I did want to mention again Richie Bauer, son of Hal Bauer. Rich, you know how I feel. Your father was a friend, a mentor, a second father to many of us. He had a special relationship with a few of us, and I think I had one with him. I want to thank him for guiding me and being a true friend. You know how I feel about him, and he will always have a place in my heart. Tonight, you and your family are Hall of Famers. Thank you, Richie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Steve Young, and I'd like to thank everybody on the Hall of Fame committee and all the recipients for a great night. Thank you, and back to Steve Young.
We have 15 minutes of kickoff, so settle in. Just a couple things. Guys, the football team, there are plaques up here for you guys. All right, there are plaques for each one of you who are here tonight. just grab them afterwards. There will probably be a group shot over there by Paul. I would also like to thank the Hall of Fame, all the members, if you could stand, please. Hall of Fame members. Once again, guys. Thanks for the great memories. In our book, you kind of noticed that we dedicated the book to Al McFadden. He passed away this past year. He was one of the founding members of our Hall of Fame. I'd like the committee to stand if they would. And again, like I said, we miss Al significantly, and I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame members, particularly a couple people. Faith Irons, we couldn't do this banquet without you. The toughest job we all have is coordinating the tickets. All right, that's the toughest job. Faith steps up and takes the job, and it's not unnoticed how hard it is. I know some of you guys just paid tonight, so you know what it's like getting it under the wire. I also like to thank Dennis Gray. He was on our school board for 22 years. He was one of the founding fathers of the Hall of Fame as well. Got us through a lot of legal decisions and helped us, and has been a great supporter of the community, the district, and the Hall of Fame for many years. I wouldn't be my father's son if I didn't pitch membership. So if you haven't joined the Hall of Fame, it's our give back to the school. It's a fundraiser. We try to purchase items that's good for all athletes, not particular sports. So sometimes we pay for coolers, sometimes we pay for ice makers, sometimes we pay whatever can help all teams. So membership helps drive our funds, and so does a banquet. So we appreciate you coming every year, every other year. And again, if you're not a member, we encourage you to join. There's a form in the booklet. Also, Thanksgiving. All the inductees, we will announce you at halftime at the game. Mrs. Patterson, you have tickets? Okay. Mrs. Patterson will have tickets for you guys, complimentary tickets. We'd love to see you if you can make it. I know some of you come from great distance. Thanks. Thanks for coming out. I know you guys traveled far, and appreciate it. Go Eagles. Can the football team come up to the corner, get a picture, and then there's a plaque?